First of all, listen, it's interesting about all these young guys today. They never call on us and say, hey, thanks for the kind word and telling me how great a player I am. But when they play like crap and we call them out, we don't know what we're talking about. Listen, I'm easy to find, but I get sick of these guys complaining. These young guys, they never call us and say, when a coach is wrong, I'm going to call him out. But when players are wrong, I'm going to call them out. But listen, I'm going to criticize guys that they deserve it. And listen, they can kiss my ass if they don't like it.
What's going on, YouTube? It's Nathan back with another video presentation. Episode 12 of Big Nate Talk Podcast coming at you. Happy Sunday evening. Hope everyone had a great weekend. Hope everyone had a great weekend. Hope everyone's ready for the start of a new week. Before we get into the video, there's a couple of things I need to say up front. So if you have not already, check me out on Spotify. It's Big Nate Talk Podcast. It is up to date as of Friday. All the episodes so far have been uploaded. As I've stated, once the season is over for the NBA, this will conclude season one. We got a lot of things to get into tonight. I have a special guest that will join me breaking down the Milwaukee Bucks and Suns critical game 3, which was I did not expect that to happen tonight. It's a lot to get into. We're going to get into the Mystics. It was a beautiful playoff atmosphere game that I saw. The Baltimore Orioles, I got to see them today and yesterday in person and watched that atrocity. Today was better, but we'll get into that. And then I'm going to briefly touch on Team Nigeria defeating Team USA basketball and the ESPYs. We're going to talk about that. And then my special guest will talk about a couple things. Cameron, what's good, bro? What is good, sir? So with that being said, let me bring on my special guest. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello, everybody.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
I am Janae Strother.
I'm Sean Spencer.
We are back, ladies and gentlemen.
I gotta go out and hold up.
Come on. Come on.
All right. I am Janae Strother.
I am Sean Spencer.
And this is Let's Talk Football.
What's going on, Big Nate? How you doing? How you feeling?
Sean Spencer's in the building. What's going on, sir?
Always good, man. Always good. You know what I'm saying? You know, just been in the studio, chopping up the footage, making the little commercials and whatnot.
Yep. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Sean Spencer from Let's Talk Football is in the building. Definitely wanted to get on here tonight and talk about Game 3, Bucks versus the Suns. Me and him have had off camera, definitely had a conversation about the Bucks. Just for the record, Cam says, what's up, Sean?
Oh, what's up, Cam? Again, we're on camera. Where you at? That's all I'm saying. Don't make me make another video. Don't make me do it. You know I will.
But we're going to talk about a couple things. So we're going to start off with Game 3, the big win tonight from the Milwaukee Bucks, real crucial. Let me say this. I called it. I did say Milwaukee was going to come in and win Game 3. I've noticed from the Brooklyn series, Atlanta series, and until now, Milwaukee starts heating up after the first 2 games. And I think a lot of it is everyone's going through the motions. But I have to exclude Giannis these first 2 games because Giannis showed up. We were still waiting for Chris Middleton and Drew Holiday to show up. And tonight, it finally happened. The biggest thing that I took away from this game is Giannis, 41 points, 12 rebounds, and just unstoppable. Again, I think the biggest thing is the aggressiveness of Milwaukee, and the ball movement was better tonight. The first 2 games, was very stagnant. I showed a clip on the end at the end of last week's episode of how Phoenix moved the ball. There was a possession. I'm actually going to show you that clip at the end where the ball movement was fantastic on Milwaukee's side. Another thing, a couple things I took away from this was they had a 22-point lead at the end of the third, which has been Milwaukee's biggest lead in this whole series. I have a stat here. I want to give a shout out real quick to Stat News. Hold on, give me a second. Suns-Bucks matchup score this season. The Phoenix Suns 589 compared to the Milwaukee Bucks 584. And only 3 games, ladies and gentlemen. Also wanted to point this out. Chris Paul's teams are 1-12 in the last 13 playoff games officiated by Scott Foster. Players with a 40-10 finals game since 2000. Shaq twice, LeBron 5 times, KD, Jimmy Butler, and then Giannis joined that company tonight. Mm-hmm. And then, again, only 2 players in the NBA history had 40 point and 10 rebounds back-to-back. Last guy that did that was Shaquille O'Neal. And then LeBron didn't do it, but he had 41. This is Stat News saying LeBron didn't do it, but he had 41 and 16 in Games 5 and 41 and 8 in Game 6, 2016. ESPN did have that wrong, by the way. So this was better. I still, again, I believe the Bucks are going to win this in 6. I like the fact that Chris Middleton was a little bit more aggressive to give him the confidence. I mean, he gave me 18 points, but again, like I said, Drew Holiday, Chris Middleton, they're part of this big 3 with Giannis. And if they don't get on a roll early, it's a wrap.
Yeah. I agree.
Devin Booker, really disappointed. Only 10 points, 3 of 14, 1 of 7. Mm-hmm. Cam Johnson, we give him a shout out. Played really well in the second half. That dunk on PJ Tucker. You gotta just knock the hell out of someone if you get dunked on like that. But Sean, I mean, what was your take from this game tonight?
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head. Giannis has been showing up. He showed up to every game. Today, it felt like the rest of the team showed up. Yep. You spoke about Middleton, and he had 18 points. Holiday had 21. But I also think another big part of that was Bobby Portis. And you shouted him out last game. He brought a certain energy today. And he really kind of got in, got kind of not into it, but kind of back and forth with Crowder. And I think that kind of standing up to him, because we all know what kind of player Jay Crowder is. I think him standing up to him kind of set a tone, kind of like, we're not going to be messed with. But I think the story of the night, you also touched on it, Booker. Booker did not have a good game early, and I don't know if you noticed it, but there was a certain point when he was sitting on the sidelines kind of with coach and talking for a while, and the announcers were talking about it, and then Booker never returned.
No, he didn't.
No. That's something. I mean, that's something I definitely think. They said it was because of rest, but I don't know.
No, I don't think it was rest. I don't think. How can let me put it this way? Monty Williams teams that he's coached, he's always instilled confidence.
Yeah.
And I just think, me personally, I just really kind of sensed cockiness on Phoenix because they came out the first 2 games at home and practically had 2 blown out games. And I think they came into Milwaukee tonight with their heads above the clouds and saying, "Oh, we're gonna come in here and Suns in 4." And again, you hit nail on the head. Bobby Portis, 11 points. But I'm looking at Pat Connaughton. He gave me 8 points.
Yep.
PJ Tucker, even though, again, like 5 fouls, like he, when it counted the most, really was aggressive on defense, particularly on Chris Paul. They really were playing a lot better, much better defense on Chris Paul. That was key. Much better defense. The biggest thing that also I took away from Phoenix is with Sarge out they lose some length inside. And Frank Kaminsky's not a defender. And Crowder, Ayton got in foul trouble early. He ended up with 5 fouls.
He had 3 by halftime. He picked up his 4th foul right after halftime. But
exactly.
Like you said, hey, you got to shout out my boy UNC alum Cam Johnson, man. He hit 9 of his 11 points in the first 6 minutes of the third quarter.
Yep.
He came in with hairs on fire. You talk about that dunk where you have PJ Tucker coming up you know what I mean? But he just did it on him, man. So shout out to him, man. But on the flip side, it was such a mismatch with Ayton out. When you had Cam trying to get Giannis, he kept calling in the paint, "Hey, mismatch."
And that's where we're saying that's where Giannis is unstoppable in the paint. Again, because he's physically so strong. It's impossible to defend him in the post. Joel Embiid, the same thing a few years ago at the All-Star game. Guys couldn't defend him in the post. Guys tonight can't touch Giannis in the post. And I think the biggest thing is, again, I think the ball movement was key. I think the Bucks playing defense. As a cohesive unit, Phoenix turned the ball over 14 times compared to Milwaukee's 9. I think that was key. And then, again, you had 5 players. You had Bobby, Brooke, Chris, Drew, and Giannis in double digits.
Right.
Even though, the same thing, Crowder, Ayton, Devin, and Chris Paul, and then Cam Johnson had double figures. But if you look, I'm looking at the stats, everybody had a negative differential in Phoenix compared to Milwaukee. So, that to me, that was a complete wow. Mikal Bridges had a quiet 4 points. Cameron Payne had 7. Torrey Craig, I know, was kind of coming off an injury, had 2. Someone named Tyshawn Alexander. They came out and they got punched in their jaw.
They did, and it goes back to what you said. I wonder how much was this that the Bucks were at home. They had that Milwaukee crowd. You know what I mean? Giannis. At one point, Giannis went 6 straight free throws at the line. You talked last time how he's going to do. He's going to hit maybe 1 of 2 free throws each time. He hit 6 in a row. He seemed like he was more confident. But I think the big thing, and you alluded to it earlier, is that the Bucks in Game 1 and Game 2 were watching Giannis play. Tonight, it seemed like they were moving with Giannis. So he had outlets. He had places that he can go to. And, like you stated, the Suns, they played small because the people were out. Kaminsky out of Wisconsin, he's not, he's not the tank.
Defender.
He's not the right. You know what I mean? Now Crowder still had 6 or 7 from 3?
From 3.
Crowder still did his thing.
And they were to me, those buckets from Crowder kind of helped Phoenix kind of stay within the game, but the game was over by the fourth quarter.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You could just tell. And then, again, like Chris Middleton, again, he struggled in Game 2. He had 11 points in that game, but tonight, 15 on 5 or 10 shooting, 5 rebounds, and 4 assists. And in the Bucks, ladies and gentlemen, hey, Jammer, what's good, man? They have been dominating in the paint. They're averaging practically outrunning 51 points in the paint. That's the largest. Come on, man. That's where the Bucks have to play. That's Bucks basketball.
Yeah.
The way again is the inconsistencies from Milwaukee. Come on, man. We know that this Buck team is built to win a championship. If they play like this, it's a wrap.
Right.
It's going to this is going to turn it around. So I'm really proud of the Milwaukee Bucks. But what do you think the Bucks need to do in Game 4? Because again, they're home, and I think again you play better when you're at home because everyone's in the crowd cheering for you and different things like that. It just gives you extra confidence. But what do you think Milwaukee needs to do to keep the pressure on Phoenix?
They need to emulate what they did tonight.
Sure.
Tonight I think they got the blueprint. You need to. Giannis is going to do his thing, go in the paint. You need to help him by moving and making your shots. But another thing that was huge, Portis got to the line. Holiday got to the line. You guys got to create your own points as well. If your shots aren't falling, right, you got to create your own. Now you're not going to get a situation for the rest of this series where Booker is sitting out. Okay, so you're going to have to account for that. But yeah, exactly.
I can't believe exactly. I mean, he's just he is. To me, it's like this. I feel like this is his moment. This is his time, and it's just it is crazy to see this man just play out of his mind. Like, Lord have mercy. Like, I really think the Phoenix Suns really, I think, unleashed all hell on them. Like, I really think, again, I know, like, his knee, he's still coming off the knee injury, but again, I'm looking at, here it is, for example, you look at my notes. It was a 16-0 run in the third quarter, and then, like you said, Giannis hit 12 of 15 threes compared to Phoenix 8 of 13, but he had 16 points low in the third quarter. Like, that's the key. That's the big difference. So I got to give Mike Budenholzer credit. I know, I'm sure you've heard me say this numerous times. I've got on Mike Budenholzer about not making the adjustments, but tonight he definitely earned some credit. He definitely got these boys playing Bucks basketball, and I think this could be. I think this is the turnaround. Like I said, I still have Milwaukee winning this in 6. I'm proud of the Bucks, but the fact that, again, tonight, I was expecting. I was expecting to be more of a closer game, but and I've said this before. Call me crazy. If Giannis keeps this up and loses, I think he'd be the first MVP that loses in the finals since Jerry West. Yes, he could be, but we'll see. But I've said this a number of times too, and I've heard this from guys like Inside the NBA, ESPN. The Milwaukee Bucks, tonight, they had a killer instinct. And there were moments they were let Phoenix back in the game because Cam Johnson had one on a personal. Let me make sure I have this right. I think he went on like an 18-9 run all by himself. So, like that right there, he was like that. That's something Phoenix can't let happen. But
Milwaukee
shot back. Drew Holiday, other than what was a game 6 and game 7 in Atlanta, that was one of Drew Holiday's better games. And I know the type of player that Drew Holiday can be. I saw him in Philadelphia and I saw him in New Orleans. I know what he can do. And again,
I think it's consistency, though. I think, like you said, it's consistency. Because it's nice that they did this tonight and got one win, but you need to be able to do this game in and game out, and you need to be able to do this in a clutch period. I mean, look, the Suns, for all intents and purposes, were running away with the series. I mean, I'm glad we played. The Bucks played great tonight, but hey, you need to be consistent. Giannis has been doing it with the hurt knee, like you said. They need to be consistent with that, man.
Now I didn't. I forgot to say this in last episode, but there again, I'm gonna use Stat News according to them on Twitter. This was before game tonight. Eric Bledsoe and Drew Holiday. Eric Bledsoe's playoff shooting splits with the Bucks. He shot 41% from the field, 25% from 3, had a 73 field free throw percentage compared to Drew Holiday, 41%, 29% from 3, 67% from the free throw line. Eric Bledsoe averaged more points, steals, and blocks per 36 minutes in his Bucks playoff career than Drew Holiday. So we know Drew Holiday knows that he has to play aggressive on the offensive side and the defensive side, which he did tonight. But The biggest key was the Suns got out rebounded. I have it right here. It's 47 and 36. That's what I got. But they horrendously took 31 threes, only made 9. So that's not going to get it done. And I really would like to know more about with Devin Booker.
Yeah.
I think for the Suns, I think Chris Paul has to just keep shooting well. Jay Crowder, and then Devin Booker needs to just get whatever out of the funk that he was in tonight. Because I've seen Devin Booker play like that. He played like that against the Clippers a couple times, and even though they won, the Suns won. Like there was I think it was games 4 and 5 where he didn't have offensively. He didn't have a good game. So much love. Shout out to them. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, let's be honest. Like Devin Booker is a great night-to-night player, but there's a reason why the Suns, even with him scoring 40 and 50 points, game in and game out for the last couple of years, haven't done anything in the regular season or gotten to the playoffs. They needed a Chris Paul. They needed Crowder. These guys that have been to the big games that can actually play game in and game out. Booker's gonna get you the points, and he's done. Shout out to him. He's done it all the way through the playoffs. But he has had, like you mentioned, he has had off nights that it's not happening. So
it's not happening at all.
And it's the worst time for that to happen.
Exactly. And again, I got to shout out to the Milwaukee Bucks and shout out to the Deer District. I mean, that energy is just crazy. And you can't. I mean, again, like I think the Bucks, man, like this team, I believe they have the tools to do it. They do. They have the tools. They gotta just, again, it's consistency. If they play like this on a consistent level, it's a wrap. But they gotta have a killer instinct. And again, like I said, Bucks and 6. So, with that being said, I'm going to transition into the WNBA. I saw this game Saturday night. Washington Mystics. It was a great overtime thriller against the Chicago Sky. Couple things that stood out to me. Well, this is the last game, obviously, before the girls go on break for the Olympics and the All-Star game. Tina Charles, we just need to just give her the MVP. It's like today. She is on pace to probably have the most score. She is on pace to be the scoring champion of the league this year. She's just doing it all. I mean, 34 points. She had a double-double. But I got to give some love out to the Shatori. Even though Shatori Walker is still adjusting, it's only been 3 games since she's been back as a Mystic. She's still, I think, getting adjusted to his playbook. Teresa Plaisance, contributed. Sydney Wees, again, getting contributions on the offensive side, but the defensive side. There was a play late in the fourth quarter where she drew a charge on Candace, which was beautiful defense. I would have counted the Mystics made Chicago turn the ball over. Natasha Cloud has 7 points, 11 assists, 5 rebounds. Steffi Dolson, the play where Steffi Dolson went to the hole for a layup to tie the game, I said that's where we lost the game. But then Tina Charles made a free throw, and the Kent Parker missed the 3. I was like, okay, sigh of relief. Just a quick note. So that was Tina Charles's 6th 30 and 15 game of her career, according here to Across the Timeline on Twitter. Lauren Jackson in 2010 was one of her MVP seasons, is the only other WNBA player to have 30 and 15 in one season. After recording this first back-to-back 30 and 15 in games WNBA history earlier this season, on the 19th and 22nd, Tina now has back-to-back games with 30 points plus, 15 plus rebounds on the third and as yesterday. Ariel Atkins. Now she had a good look at the three to tie to take the lead, but then Tina cleaned it up, forcing the overtime. Again, like I'm gonna give Teresa some love because I know I've been getting on her about the shooting, but on the defensive side, played really well. Biggest thing, Washington's got to clean up the defense, especially when it comes to switching. Like Allie Quigley had 16 points, and then Steffi Dawson at 20. Keep in mind, in the first half of the fourth quarter, Chicago was on the first one. It was a 5-0 run. Then that was because then we cut down to 5. And they cut it down to 5. Steffi Dawson scored 8 of their 20 fourth quarter points. And then the go-ahead bucket, I think it was like 36 seconds left. And then Candace Parker, she didn't have a bucket in the second half until the fourth quarter. She had she scored 2 buckets. She had the layup and then the free throws. It's with Candace Parker, it's like it's when she hits the shots. That's what bothers me. I love Candace Parker. But also too, there's a couple plays. I wish I could pull it up. Candace Parker, I'd gave her a technical because where she drew an offense, it was an offensive foul on her, the charge. She kind of looked at the referee like, really? And then I'm not sure if she was saying something about, I'm not sure if she was pointing towards the Mystics or the referees, and she kind of swatted at them. I'm not sure if it's towards the Mystics bench or the referees, but she would have got a technical for me on, especially on the one where she kind of went like, look at the referee, like you're not gonna show me up as a referee. I know referees can be a little sensitive when it comes to certain things, but one thing I think we shouldn't be doing is showing up referees like that. Vandersloot had a double-double. She had 13 points and 15 dime pieces. So Lexi Brown did not play, which was weird. And then Azora did not play, only played 8 minutes. That's ironic. Yeah, I mean, other than that, the biggest thing was when it counted was defense, and the Mystics played it. I know this has been a crazy first half. They're not 8-10 going into the break. It's well deserved. I know with Erica McCall not there, Maisha Hines-Allen, Elena Deladon, Emma not there. It's been kind of hard. It's been kind of rough to see them play without key players. But everybody has stepped up when needed to. Again, it's like if the season ended today, they'd be the 8th seed. So they barely just sneak in there, honestly and truthfully. And I think that actually, honestly, truthfully, I think that's the end for us when it comes to the Commissioner's Cup. Because I know Connecticut clinched, and I want to say Seattle clinched too. So let me just look at that real quick. Yeah, I know Connecticut won, and then I know they clinched because they're 9-1. So when is it again? Yeah, so today was the last day. So yeah, I don't even think Washington's going to be in it because they're the 5th seed. They're 4-6. But it was a great win for the Mystics to go into the All-Star break. I want to congratulate again Tina, Ariel, and Leilani. Leilani represents Australia. I want to wish them all the best. Go win us that gold in the Olympics. And I think honestly too, I'm gonna say this now. This Mystic team in the second half of the season, when they get Elena, Emma, Maisha, when everyone comes back healthy, this team is a force to be reckoned with. You're gonna see this team go on a tear. I guarantee it. Guarantee it. Next topic. stick with basketball. I'm not going to really stay much on this. Team Nigeria defeated Team USA in an exhibition game. First and foremost, let me just say this. I'm not going to panic. Well, hold on.
How do you do that? How do you do that? What the hell is going on?
To play that, you know, it's an exhibition game, and keep in mind, you know, there's some guys that still aren't there. I know Bam Adebayo chose to play for us and not them. I know Josh Okogie. There's a couple other guys. I know that a few guys that are on that Nigerian team have played in the NBA. But there's a couple things I want to point out. The biggest thing was rebounding, and they have some newcomers. I mean, like, it's an exhibition game. Like, these guys are getting their feet wet. And I think the biggest thing is who's going to contribute off the ball. And they just got to. I think they just really were just filling each other out. Greg Popovich will get these guys and going, but also too, I saw they lack perimeter defense. So I'm not going to panic. It's an exhibition game. If anything, I'm still more upset. And I was 10 years old when this happened. When half of our guys in 2004 didn't even want to represent us in the Olympics, and we ended up coming home with bronze. But that's neither here nor there. You know, I'm still not letting that go. Actually, hold on. Who was on that? Who was on that USA team? I'm not letting that go because half those guys didn't want to play for us. Didn't even want to represent. Let's see.
Remember? Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, Sean.
I was gonna say, remember. I mean, the only reason why this is a thing because it's really not an issue, but because that '92 team with Jordan, with Magic, with Larry Bird. All those guys, they made it such an issue. They made it. We were invincible back then. Now you got these teams that, like you said, 2004, they don't even want to come and play. So now it's like it's not as big of a thing anymore. It's not as big of a. At least it's not taken as seriously or as it should, in my opinion. Yeah.
I mean, like Nigeria's got some ball players. Like, don't get me wrong. Like they shot 43s against us. And then, like, you know, I have a quote from Greg Popovich quote: "This loss means nothing if we don't learn from it, but it can be the most important thing in this tournament for us to learn lessons from it." That's it. And again, Drew Holiday, Chris Middleton, and Devin Booker are not there because why? The NBA Finals. But on this 2014, AI, Stephon Marbury, Dwayne Wade, Carlos Boozer, Melo, LeBron, Emeka Okafor, Sean Marion, Amari Stoudemire, Tim Duncan, Lamar Odom, Richard Jefferson. And who coached? Larry Brown coached them. And we came home with the bronze. Yeah, I'm not letting that go. So I'm more pissed about that than an exhibition game. But like again, like hold on, wait, give me a second. Everybody was like it was the end of the world. Like the score was 90-87. It wasn't like it was 105-67.
Because like I was saying, you have the 92 team that was invincible. I'm not, and now it is more spread out. It is more stretched out to a lot more countries that actually have solid players. We know about all the players that come from the Middle East and Asia, China, all these, and now Africa. So the game is definitely, but we still should be the dominant. The NBA still at one point was the most dominant force. You talk about that team in 2004. You know what I mean? All those names on paper. What? Who could touch those guys? You know what I mean? It's like the whole aura of Team USA for the men's basketball has really gone down.
I wouldn't say it's gone down, but I think the biggest thing was I just look at it like it's an exhibition game. The biggest thing is they're still working the kinks out. I think personally there's a lot of ball dominant guys, and Greg Popovich and the crew are going to have to really figure out how to these guys play off the ball, because if like Kevin Durant, I know he scored 7 straight points to respond, but it'll all work out. But again, I like.
How do you do that? How do you do that? What the hell is going on?
So, yeah, but I'm not going to waste my breath on it. But congratulations to Team Nigeria, well deserved. And again, they got some great talent. I said they got a couple former NBA players in there, so well deserved. Get into the Baltimore Orioles. We'll talk a little baseball. They lost earlier this afternoon in extra innings. Final score was 7-4. I was there yesterday. The biggest thing with the Baltimore Orioles, the pitching is terrible. Thank you, Pickles. I just like Trey Mancini hit that game time 2-run home run off Liam Hendricks. Alex Wells came in there. I'm like, okay, because Dylan Tate was in the bullpen warming up. Then Brandon Hyde came out there, and I'm thinking, okay, he's gonna take him out. But I think Brandon gave him that confidence, and then Adam and Eagle. That's how this. Like there wasn't. Camden Yards wasn't even that packed today. It's really disgusting. I mean, it was packed today. I'll take that back. But it's really disgusting that there were White Sox fans there, and I don't have anything against the White Sox, but when he hit that home run, it got real quiet. Another thing that I wanted to take note: Andrew Vaughn had a home run in the 4th inning because Austin Hayes started us off early. It was 2-1. It was 2-0, and Ryan Mountcastle got hit, so he had to come out the game. Just like going forward, like I really don't know what more I can say about this team. Like there are just so many there are some games where it's just really hard to watch the Orioles, and watching them in person from the pitching, like the game Saturday, like I can't think like the offense is just so inconsistent. Like today, in the bottom of the 10th, Pedro Severino was out at second base, and then Calvin Gutierrez single. Now, Cedric Mullins, I felt like that was a home run, but the baseball god said nope. And then DJ Stewart, same thing, nope. But to end the first half on that note, it sucks. It really does. I don't know what else I can say. I'm hurt. My team sucks. I will always bleed orange and black, but the first half of this season, like this pitching staff, like Thomas Eshelman only lasted 2 innings. This was Saturday's game. We're not gonna win with guys like not lasting no more than 5 innings. So the Baltimore Orioles, they got to figure this out. Like that was our 60th loss of the season. We've reached 60 losses before we won 30 games. It sucks. I still believe that the Diamondbacks are a worse team than the Orioles. So we know who the first two picks are going to be for next year. The Arizona Diamondbacks are the number one overall pick, and then they'll be the Baltimore Orioles. I just want to point it out. We're the only two teams that have yet to get over 30 wins. We haven't even touched it. And then today was the MLB draft. We had the number 5 overall pick, and we got selected Colton Cowser from Sam Houston State University. Another year where you didn't want to pay top dollar for the best available player. Last year they took Heston Kjerstad, outfielder. Quote, this is Mike Elias for the Baltimore Sun. We feel that we should be getting an impact player with this pick, and that's our goal. I think if that doesn't happen, I feel like we failed with the pick. I mean, honestly, like I get it. I thought last year we could have got Aston Martin out of Vanderbilt, but the Blue Jays took him. Well, no, the Blue Jays did take him after we got Heston, and Heston contracted mitochondritis, which is like something in the heart. So far, I mean, I think the biggest thing is his health. So we'll see how that turns out. But this was another one where they've underused. They're drafting a guy that you wouldn't expect. You're not going to pay him as much as like Kumar out of Vanderbilt. So they're using the money to pay the later draft picks, which makes sense. But yeah, that's the state of the Orioles. Sean, do you have any thoughts on that? No? Okay.
No, yeah, I didn't go to see that game. I didn't watch it. I was out there. Like I said, I went over to Pickle, so I was in that area, but I didn't actually go and see it. But yeah, I've been watching it from afar. They haven't been good in a while. Like we're going to a game in September. It's already over now, so those tickets I'm sure will be cheap. And I'm not surprised to hear, like you said, that the White Sox fans were there. I mean, that's
right. No,
that's what it's like in FedEx. I mean, it's just before Chase Young. I remember we went to a game a couple years ago in FedEx, and it was like that. We had Packers fans, we had Giants fans, Cowboys fans, and I mean they were in packs and groups. Like it's not one-offs. It was just like whole groups of all these other fans, and we're like, but I mean it was the Redskins playing the Lions, so we didn't.
But still, like
it's not right. It's not right. But when you're not doing well, and those tickets are super cheap, it's not right. It's terrible, but you got to get better.
It's not. So we're going to transition. We're going to get into the ESPYs. I did not get a chance to watch that because I was kind of watching it between Team USA Nigeria and the Mystics. And then this was really good. There was a couple of things here. So the awards, first and foremost, I want to congratulate those that were nominated and those that won. So best athlete, men's sports, Tom Brady, obviously for the Buccaneers, Connor McDavid from the Edmonton Oilers, Nikola Jokic from the Denver Nuggets, Lewis Hamilton, Formula One, racing sports, ladies and gentlemen, and Thomas Brady, Mr. Super Bowl trophy.
Yeah, that guy.
And ladies and gentlemen,
do you think he deserved best athlete? I mean, maybe best football mind, no doubt, but best athlete.
I think the reason why he won because a lot of people, and again, and this is not with sports; it's in general. The media loves to create narratives.
Mhm.
This notion that, well, he's not in New England, he's going to Tampa, and he won't be the same. Can he win without Bill Belichick? Look what happened.
Right.
Best women's sports: Naomi Osaka, Simone Biles, Amanda Nunez, and Breonna Stewart. And Naomi Osaka won. I'm going to play some of the clip. So let me go ahead and share my screen, so y'all go ahead and see that if you had not already.
Okay, hello everybody. Thank you. I just really want to not say a long speech because I'm a bit nervous, but I just want to say thank you, ESPN. Thank you, all the supporters. Thank you to my fans. I know this year has been it hasn't even finished, but it's been really tough for a lot of us. And for me, I just want to say I really love you guys, and this is my first ESPYs. So it's really cool to be surrounded by all these incredible athletes. I think all of you guys are really cool, and I watch some of you on TV, so it's really surreal to be here. And yeah, thank you so much, and I really appreciate it.
Sean, what did you think?
Well, I'm glad she won. I mean, I'd like to hear what you think about it. It's interesting. What do you think?
Definitely shouldn't gotten Beth Ashley. I'm assuming you're talking about Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Well, with Naomi, I think the biggest thing with her, and I think again, these athletes, they're human too. We don't know what when they play the game that they love to play. We don't know what they're like going home afterwards.
Right.
And we say, well, they make. Yes, Tom Brady. So let me. I'll ask this question. I'll get back on the point with Naomi. So, out of this list, who do y'all think should have been best athlete other than Tom? Connor, Nikolai, or Lewis Hamilton? You can even throw in some honorable mentions in there as well.
I mean, I got to go Jokic. Jokic. I mean, after getting hurt, coming back, I mean, he put that team on his back, was MVP. Like, honestly, I mean, if we're talking about an athlete. You know what I mean? And I mean, this performance that we've seen in the last 3 games from Giannis. I mean, we're talking about athlete, but I'm looking at the actual term as a verb, as an action, as opposed to what I think you're saying. You were mentioning earlier is that it's more of an embodiment of everything. You know what I mean? And in that you would have to give it to a Tom Brady.
Do you feel like it was do you feel like he got it like as a lifetime achievement award?
If they were gonna do that, why didn't they just give him a lifetime achievement award?
Good point.
You know what I mean? Well, you know what I mean? Like, I think, look, he's very deserving. But you know what, man? Daggone, he's throwing trophies from one boat to the other. Don't give him any more awards. Don't give this man any more awards.
I would have said Nikola Jokic. When Jamal Murray went down, like you said, Sean, he definitely put the team on his back. And unfortunately, the way they went down against Phoenix, if Jamal Murray's is there, it's a whole different story.
Exactly.
So, and Connor McDavid, he is a franchise piece for the Edmonton Oilers, but I feel like Tom Brady just won it just because
it's Tom Brady.
It's Tom Brady. But Naomi was definitely deserving of it because I think she is not just her, but others that really don't have the platform that she has. I think speaks a language about mental health is very important.
Well, and now with that, I think that was. I'm not going to take anything away from her at all. 100%. Do not take me out of context, ladies and gentlemen. I do, however, think that it's kind of like the Kaepernick. She was in the news. She was the number one. Like, she's a great athlete, but with everything that is coming up and how she's perceived as now stronger for being able to be open and be more vulnerable is kind of, I think, what boosted her into that.
For sure.
I don't know if that sounds mean or rude. Like, I'm not trying to belittle
I get what you're
her
saying.
situation, but yeah,
you kind of feel like the media I feel like the media kind of also too kind of spun it and kind of can control the narrative. Well, like she's making this money and she doesn't want to play because of mental health. Instead, when I look at the bigger picture, again, they're human. They're human just like us.
Right.
Unfortunately, if you don't mind me, I bringing up an example with you. You lost someone that was very close to you.
Right.
And you don't know. We don't know what a guy like yourself, myself, guys. Those that are joining me, that are joining us on the show tonight, they don't know what we're going through behind the scenes.
Right.
And I think that what Naomi did, it shows strength and it shows courage. Now, I wanted to ask you this question before we get into the next categories of athletes. Are you aware of the Sha'Carri Richardson situation about her testing positive?
Yes.
What is your take on that?
So, okay. As one who has partaken and has done it for some, has gotten down in that, and done that thing. If you don't know what we're talking about, marijuana, smoking. I do think it is something that, with how everything is being lifted, with how most states in the country, Virginia just legalized it, a lot of states in the country are legalizing it, and they are decriminalizing it. I do think that that is something that it's kind of like, you really could have had an opportunity to take a chance and be like, her mom just passed. She just going through, you know what I mean?
Right.
But like my fiance, shout out to Kat Hughes, she said, and her and I talked about this for a while, and she said, at the end of the day, it is the Olympics, and there are rules, and you have to follow those rules. Period. At the end, that's just what it is. And when it comes down to it, the bottom line, you have to follow the rules. The rules say you can't smoke. You can't smoke. Period. At the end. I can say all day that I can understand. I get it. I can see how I can justify why she would do it. Like, going back to exactly what you said, you don't know what's going through somebody's mind.
Right.
You know what I mean? You alluded to, shout out to RIP, man, Michael Cullerton, the guy I worked with for several years. I'm going through a lot of things, and I've been through situations with people in a kind of aggressive manner where I could have seriously been like, yo, you know what I'm dealing with right now? You know what I'm saying? And they don't have any clue. You know what I mean? And that might change how their perspective is. So that's what I'm saying. Like, you're absolutely right. People don't know what you're going through. So it's rough. It's rough, man, because I agree with it. At the end of the day, I agree with it. This is the rule. You broke the rule. You know the consequence for that. It's not like it's a mystery, like, oh, what's going to happen? You knew if you don't do this, if you test positive, you're not going to be able to go. Boom, boom, boom. There it is. It just stinks. It stinks. It does.
You're right. Good point. So we're going to continue into the awards. So next category was Best Breakthrough Athlete. Justin Herbert of the Los Angeles Chargers, Chase Young of the Washington Football Team, LaMelo Ball of the Charlotte Hornets, and Crystal Dangerfield of the Minnesota Lynx. And the winner was LaMelo Ball of the Charlotte Hornets. We're going to take a listen to his speech.
I'm not going to lie to y'all. I thought about his speech all night, all day. Then the rain hit, so I low-key done forgot everything. So I'm going to just say, I only can think about my family right now, my mama. You're really my mama, for real. So I'm going to just say thank y'all, and hopefully we have a great night, y'all. Thank you.
Short and to the point. Short and to the
Absolutely. I think it was interesting how he shouted at his mama.
Right, and
he didn't shout at his pop.
Right, his mom has been going through a lot. I know she had. I want to say she had a stroke. I think it was. I know she's been going through a lot physically. But LaMelo Ball's definitely had a good rookie year. I mean, if he doesn't go down with that injury, the Charlotte Hornets they got a bright future. Crystal Dangerfield had a good year in Minnesota last year. Justin Herbert and Chase Young didn't get any love. Sean, what's your take on that?
They shouldn't have. They shouldn't have. At the end of the day, Justin Herbert, their team was still. I mean, he had a great season, but their team still had a losing record.
Right.
And at the end of the day, the reason why we got into the playoffs, we've talked about it many times. The reason why we got to the playoffs is because the rest of our division sucked.
It was trash.
That's what that was. There's no if and I'm the biggest Washington football team fan, Redskins. I'm the biggest fan that you're gonna find, and I'm realistic. We were garbage. We were the half of the season. We were terrible. The rest of the teams were terrible, but we were able to somehow do it. Now, did Chase Young completely help change the culture and help make our defense a viable, a fear defense? Yes, absolutely. But so did the rest of the first round picks that we have on defense with Montez Sweat and Deron Payne, and you know what I mean? So you have these other guys that are there, and Chase Young is a big piece of that puzzle, but all of them together make up that top tier defense that we have. So no, I'm not surprised at all. I mean, he got Defensive Rookie of the Year, and Herbert got Offensive Rookie of the Year, and I think that's one of the reasons they were even considered in the first place, because they were definitely dominant, in regards to their position and how they affected the team and things of that nature, but they weren't that. You know what I mean? So, in my opinion, yeah.
I got you. The next topic, next award was Best Game. We had the NCAA's men's basketball Final Four, Gonzaga versus UCLA. NCAA's women's basketball championship game, Stafford versus Arizona. NFL Week 14 Monday Night Football, it was the Baltimore Ravens versus those Cleveland Brownies. And then the NHL playoffs, the Winnipeg Jets swept the Edmonton Oilers in triple overtime. Now, that triple overtime game, the Oilers and Jets, was on fire. Weren't the Hornets garbage too? The Hornets got in the playoff game and lost to the Indiana Pacers.
Yeah, they made the playoffs.
They got in the playoff game. And the winner was the Gonzaga versus UCLA game. 90 final score, Gonzaga won 93-90.
Yeah, I'll give them that. Overtime, a triple overtime game always takes a cake, but I think the fact that it was a 4-0, it was a sweep series, it wasn't a game 7 or something like that. That Stanford Arizona game, that came down to the wire. And honestly, and I think you can agree with me, there was a couple games in that women's NCAA tournament that could have been on this list.
Yep.
You know what I mean? I think UConn LSU.
I thought it was Baylor.
Oh, it was Baylor. Yeah, you're right. Where they fouled her at the end of the definitely.
Definitely should have been on there. Should have been on there.
Yeah. That Ravens game, I'm not gonna lie to you, man. It's the only reason it was big, in my opinion, is because look, it's because your boy went into the locker room and then he came out. Oh my God, look at him, he came back.
That ain't right. That ain't right. I don't think they're never gonna give him a break on that one.
He got to win that ring, man. He got to get that ring. I hate it, but that's the league we're in. And when Tom Brady gets to get Athlete of the Year, you see how much they revere that ring. You see how they look at Patrick Mahomes compared to Lamar. I mean, honestly, player for player, I think Lamar is better. I think Lamar is more of an impact player. But Patrick Mahomes, he has a better team. The coaching, the team. Honestly, with Patrick Mahomes, he has a couple more weapons. He has Tyreek Hill. He has Kelsey. 2 top, 15 players in this league. You know what I mean? So top 15, top 30. So that's I think the difference. But some reason they elevate Patrick Mahomes so much more, and it's not fair, to be honest with you.
It's not. I agree. But let's get back into it. Best college athlete, men's sports. We had Devontae Smith from the University of Alabama, Luke Garza from the University of Iowa, Glory Amanda from Oregon State soccer, and then Trevor Lawrence, Clemson football. The winner was Devontae Smith. Best college athlete, women's sports, Paige Beckers out of UConn, Madison Lilly out of Kentucky volleyball, Jalen Howe, Florida State soccer, Odichi Alexander from James Madison softball, and the winner was Paige. Yep. So we're going to listen to her quick little spiel, and I'm going to give my we're going to kind of get into it on this one. So let me go ahead and share the screen. Oops. There you go.
I would like to say all glory to God because, I mean, this is better than I could have ever imagined. I'm just a small town kid with really big dreams, and I'm honored to show all the little kids that are watching this that dreams do come true if you work hard and you have great faith in your life. A huge shout out to my friends and my family and everybody that helped me get to be where I am today, especially my coaches and my teammates. I stand on this stage alone, but without them, I wouldn't have this award. And they've sacrificed so much for me. Okay, sorry. I just had ankle surgery. I'm out of breath, out of shape. But no, with the light that I have now, as a white woman who leads a Black-led sport and celebrated here, I want to show a light on Black women. They don't get the media coverage that they deserve. They've given so much to this sport and the community and society as a whole, and their value is undeniable. And the WNBA last season, the postseason awards, 80% of the winners were Black, but they got half the amount of coverage as the white athletes. So I think it's time for change. Sports media holds the key to storylines.
Yep.
Sports media and sponsors tell us who is valuable, and you have told the world that I matter today, and everyone who voted, thank you. But I think we should use this power together to also celebrate Black women.
Wow.
So to Maria Taylor, Robin Roberts, Maya Moore, Odyssey Alexander, to all the incredible Black women in my life, on my teams, to Breonna Taylor and all the lives lost, and to those names who have not yet learned, but I hope to share, I stand behind you, and I will continue to follow you and follow your lead and fight for you guys. So I just want to say thank you for everything.
Sean, what was your take from that?
Wow, shout out to her, man. I've seen her on the court. She's a baller. She gets it in for sure. But honestly, I mean, it mirrors what we do. We have this platform, man. Every show that I create is so I can uplift and give other people the opportunity to speak that might not otherwise get an opportunity to speak. I absolutely appreciate that. She understood the situation. She took full control of that moment, and I mean, she used class. That was great. That was dominant. I definitely enjoyed that.
I mean, I loved it. I don't really care about the risk she took. I think there are people in today's society that are hypersensitive about racial sensitive issues. And, you know, I think what she's trying to highlight the honesty. You know, right. we got a lot of, you know, I'm looking at the fact that, you know, we don't really give Black women, particularly in sports and media coverage, the credit and the respect that they deserve. And, you know, again, you know, she said it, the media controls the narrative. And it's going to take guys like ourselves, Paige, and others, and, you know, those that are, you know, everyone to really focus on that point. And it's not just sports. It's a bigger issue. You know, we got to really start recognizing the hard work that really everyone, and that's including African-American women, and the work that they're doing. The WNBA, for example, I did a whole video with them in the bubble for the 144 documentary. Those women and what they had to go through being away from home, dealing with the social injustices, and all of them as really as a sisterhood, as Black women, you know, united on playing the game and controlling the narrative of using their platform to speak on issues. And this was a good platform for Paige to speak on, and I you know, hey, like A.H. Lowe said, mad respect.
Yeah.
Mad respect.
It's a shirtless wonder, right?
That's Ablo?
That's Ablo, man. Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, that's a shirtless wonder.
John B, did you hear about Deshaun Watson? No, I did not hear about Deshaun Watson.
No, what happened?
What's going on? Details emerge. What? Training with Jordan Love and Justin Fields. What's this?
Training.
What did I say? Trading?
Yeah. Training with Justin Fields and Jordan Love. But that's two different teams. That's the Packers and that's the Bears.
John B, you need to give us the details on Times reporting that Rusty Harden has added
Alan Dershowitz. Yeah. Ooh, interesting.
That's interesting. Look like they're trying to. Interesting.
It's gonna be interesting how he comes out of this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because we all know that's a big name lawyer you're bringing into this. He Watson remains embroiled in allegations from more than 20 women who claim that he engaged in sexual misconduct while they were giving massages. You know, that's NBC Sports, Pro Football Talk.com, man. So even if he comes into this, even if he stays straight, even if he's able to skate past this, he's always going to have now that black mark on him. I hate that. You know what I mean? And as you see, I mean, you know, Bill Cosby was released after his case, you know, everything got overturned in that, but he still has the mark. There's still people that are saying, you know, he's a this, he's a that, blah. And once it's I've been watching on Netflix the trial of not like social conscience, social media. You know what I mean? Once people sit there and think you're wrong, it doesn't matter if you're proved right. That's why we have so much issues with all this stuff in the news and fake news and all these different news platforms. Because once you're proven, it comes out one way, people they believe it and go with that. Yeah. Unless they're close to you, they believe that to a T. And it stinks. we don't know what's going to happen with Watson, but he's not going to come out the same person he was before.
No, for certainly no. And again, I think also too, cancel culture definitely will find a way to hold that against them. Yeah. And you know, well, I mean, we'll see. I mean, the truth's going to come down. The truth's always going to come down the middle, regardless of any situation. And you know, I just think the way the whole situation has played out, honestly, there's a lot of questions I still have about it. But
I agree. Yeah.
We're going to continue with it. I'm just going to go down. I'm not going to read off I'm just going to read off the winners of each award. So, best breaking performance was Russell Westbrook. He broke Oscar Robertson's triple-double record. Best international athlete for men's soccer was Cristiano Ronaldo. Best international athlete women's soccer was Sam Mewis. Best play was Kyle Murray's Hail Mary to DeAndre Hopkins.
Oh, wow.
That over DK Metcalf chasing down Buda Baker. Yeah. Unseeded Marshall scores with less than 3 minutes and remaining OT to claim the first national title. And Simone Biles became the first woman to land a Yurchenko double pike on vault in competition. Interesting.
That's interesting.
Best NFL player, Tom Brady. Best MLB baseball player, Shohei Ohtani. Best NHL player, Patrick Kane. Best driver between Indy, F1 NASCAR, and NHRA was Lewis Hamilton was the winner. Best NBA player was Steph Curry. Best WNBA player was Breonna Stewart. And that were Asia Wilson, Enrique Ongubawale, and Candace Parker. Best boxer, Tyson Fury. Best MMA fighter, Khabib. Yeah, best MMA fighter. Nomar Nurmagomedov. I know I name dropped that so badly. Best athlete men's golf, Phil Mickelson. Best athlete was women's golf, Si Young Kim. Best athlete men's tennis, Novak Djokovic. Best women's athletes tennis, Naomi Osaka. Best athlete men's action sports, Gabrielle Medina surfing. Best women's athletes action sports, Chloe Kim snowboarding. Best jockey, Joel Rosario. Best athlete with a disability, men's sports, Chris Naikic triathlon. Best athlete with a disability, women's sports, Becca Murray wheelchair basketball. Best bowler, Tom Doherty. Best Major League Soccer player, Diego Rossi. And best women's league soccer, National Women's Soccer League player was Julie Ertz, wife of Zach Ertz. So those were your ESPY winners of 2021. Congratulations to those. And
yo, shout out to Ab, man. He's like that DK Metcalf play was one of the best plays. Look, Ab, I would agree with you. It was a great hustle play, and we're hustle people. But at the end of the day, with Kyler Murray, how he broke away and then threw it up. And let's be honest, man. DeAndre Hopkins, he made those gloves went on a state like those gloves went up. People buying them left and right, buying them out the stores because of that play. He caught it over 3 guys, and it was no slouch. It was the Buffalo Bills who ended up going to the AFC Championship. So I got to give it that. I have to give it that. And the circumstance, everything around it, I got to give it that play.
I'm with Ablo on this one. I gotta say the DK one because Buda Baker has some legs on him, and to just see DK like it happened when I saw it live. It happened so fast. I'm like, wait a minute, what did I just see? I'm like, man. But real quick, I'm gonna play Breonna Stewart's speech as she won the best WNBA player. That was a bit controversial. I don't want to say it's controversial. I say Asia Wilson or Candace Parker. But, I mean, it could go either way. But that's hearsay.
Best WNBA player. It's an honor to receive this award, especially among all the other amazing players in this league. Really want to give thanks to my teammates, the Storm organization, my family, my friends, the people who voted me in. But would like to say that in the WNBA, it's bigger than basketball. We're continuing to fight for social justice, for social change. We're always at the forefront of it. And without the rest of this league, the players, I would not be here. So really want to give a shout out to everybody in the WNBA. For the fans that watch us, please continue to watch us. For those that don't, I hope you will start to watch the WNBA, start to get behind us, and continue to help our fight for equality, continue to do better, just as we will. Thank you.
So, yeah, that was her speech. Breonna Stewart, congratulations. There's a couple of things I want to do play, but I'm going to say that for the closer, but our last topic of the night, I'm going to give the floor to Sean Spencer. And Ablo, since you are a member of Let's Washington Football Weekly, I kind of want to say Washington Weekly Football. WWF.
Send him the link, man. Send him the link. Let's see what he up to.
Can I actually? I'm going to send a link to you. And send it to
matter of fact, I think I still got it. Hold up. I'll send it to. That's that one. Hold up. Send it to me.
And while we're actually waiting for Ablo, I can go ahead and share the clips now.
Yeah.
So for the WNBA, I've noticed there's a bit of a physicality, and lately there's really this whole season. But there's a couple plays where I'm kind of scratching my head. So I kind of caught this game late. There was the Las Vegas Aces versus the Atlanta Dream, and this game was over. And there's a couple things that I pointed out that I saw I wanted y'all to take note of. So I want you to understand that this game is over for the Atlanta Dream, as in now they go on 6-11 on the year in Atlanta, and then Las Vegas now is 14-4. So Odyssey Sims, she goes to the lane for a layup, 95-118. Now, first and foremost, there's a couple things wrong with this. You're in a full court press in the game, and there's less than 7 seconds. Now you set up Destiny Slocum right here to fail. This was a horrendously bad pass, and this is right here, Tiana Hawkins. Now, I'm just going to play the clip. I'm going to start from the beginning all the way over, and I just want you to see this is just crazy. This right here. Just watch.
Shot clock expiring. Oh no! Down hard.
Like we went from a flying elbow because Tiana they were playing the Liberty. She almost took out Benijah Laney's, almost broke her leg, and now a flying elbow that I thought knocked out Destiny Slocum. My question is, why are you going for a steal and the game's over? You're practically down 20. The game's over. The way the pass was inbounded, I didn't like it. Me personally, that was kind of dangerous. I don't think there was no intent behind that. Yeah. But we shouldn't be going for steals. And
it's not necessary. That's too much. Know the time. The game was over.
Game was over. You know. There's no exact, and again, there's just no reason to go for that. Now, keep in mind, I'm not here to take a shot at shot at Elliot Tinsley. But if that's LeBron, LeBron's like laying there for like 20 minutes, asking for a stretcher.
Mm-hmm.
That's
rolling around on the ground and whatnot. Yeah.
But you're down to it. But I mean, I again, Tiana Hawkins, former Mystic, University of Maryland. But I mean, yeah, I've noticed that she, I'm not saying they're not dirty plays, but they're unnecessary plays.
Right.
You know what I mean? And to see that happen, I want physicality, but not to the point where someone like that can get hurt, because I thought she really knocked her out. And Destiny Slocum, went to Maryland as well, and she went to Oregon after she went to another school, Arkansas, I want to say it was. But
yeah.
I just wanted to show that.
You see that comment? I think Ab's trying to jump in.
Yes, I see that comment. And also, I just wanted to show a couple clips of the Milwaukee Bucks. Just a couple highlights. Yes, and there was one with Mark Jackson where Jeff Van Gundy has said something like, "With Giannis making free throws," and it said like in the same breath with Steph Curry, and Mark Jackson said, "Don't do that." It was hilarious. It was hilarious. And joining us is the shirtless wonder, 2/4 of Washington Football Weekly, Ablo. So I'm going to give you all the platform to talk about Daniel Snyder and the Washington football fiasco. What's been going on with that? But before we get into that,
hello everybody.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
I am Janae Strother.
I'm Sean Spencer.
Back.
We are back.
We are back, ladies and gentlemen.
I gotta go out and hold up.
Come on. The Lions. The Lions. You need to find me. Kirk Cousins.
All right. I am Janae Strother.
I am Sean Spencer.
And this is Let's Talk Football.
I gotta do another one of those, man. I gotta do one for us. Washington Football Weekly, man.
I've been saying that, man. I mean, you see this, you gotta put my face on one of them things.
I got enough clips, man. We gonna work that thing out. I'm gonna get to that, man.
So I'm gonna give you guys this is the opportunity. I'm gonna give y'all the floor to just, because you guys are Washington fans, and you guys have been more on this situation about Daniel Snyder. You guys have been critical of Daniel Snyder as long as I've watched the show. And just let me, and again, this is your opportunity. Go ahead and speak your mind about Daniel Snyder. His wife is now the co-CEO of the team. The football team was fined $10 million. I know we talked about this a few days ago, but I kind of wanted to elaborate, get more of your thoughts on this, and what do you think should happen going forward for the team? So I'll take it away, fellas.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, Ab, I'll pass this to you. Honestly, you know, it's not hidden everything that Daniel Snyder's done. You know, obviously with him, the name has changed. There's been a lot of sexual assault allegations, and it's funny because, you know, Nate, we were just talking about how, you know, Deshaun Watson got to get this big time lawyer because of all this sexual misconduct, but Daniel Snyder don't seem to need anything. So, you know, shout out to Ab. You know, we were talking about how this whole thing with his wife being a co-CEO is really just the smoke screen for, you know, other things and, you know, the loopholes and whatnot. But Ab, yeah, but go ahead, man. Let him know what's good, man.
So, just to jump on what Sean was saying is that it's kind of funny when owners, like, we expect this stuff out of we expect our players to be role models and everything like that, but we don't expect the same thing out of the owners, and that's hypocrisy right there. So Dan Snyder is pretty much doing some dirty, grimy stuff, but we're not holding them to the same standards as we hold the rest of the league. And that's and when I say league, I mean the players, not owners. Like they can get away with pretty much whatever they want to and no repercussions. The repercussions should have been him getting his team stripped from him. But because who would want to work under a man like that? And this is my team. I'm talking about my team. Like, who would want to work under someone like that? And like, he was only fined $10 million. I think on our last show last week, I pretty much said that's pretty much like that's $100 to a billionaire. That
Slap
one billionaire, that's $100, and we already know Schneider is a billionaire, so that means more than 1 billion. So like that's less than that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you didn't even really fine him anything. Honestly, you should have done something that would have hurt him a little bit more. Take his team away. Take away draft picks. You know what I'm saying? Like find him over a few years. You know what I'm saying? Until he's made a difference on this team. And honestly, you can almost see that he, like, it almost, how do I say this? All the good signings that we had, all the affirmative action movements we've had, basically being the most woke team in the league, it's all thrown out the window now because of all of this. You know, this is literally just so he can tell people he's not that bad, or else he wouldn't have hired a Hispanic coach, or else his team president wouldn't have been black. Like, this is all so he can just have that caveat in conversations now. It's bad, guys, honestly. And he got his wife to be the CEO, but he's pretty much CEO still. Like, no one can tell me anything different. This man is still CEO. He just is not in the office every day.
Right. Absolutely.
Good point.
Absolutely.
I mean, I think you guys hit the nail right on the head. I just think that, you know, when I look back on that question, $10 million, you said, Sean, you like it, love it, or hate it. I hated it. And that pretty much said everything, because, you know, if we're talking about accountability, you know, for guys committing, you know, different, you know, acts of disrespect towards women, and, you know, taking advantage of abusing their power as owners, you know, the NFL is, you know, has to hold the L on this one, because the NFL, like, let's call it what it is, like, in terms of domestic violence, they really haven't had a handle on that. In terms of like the drug policy, they pick and choose what they want to ban and what not want to ban.
Right.
And then on top of this, we are in a time where these type of things, again, I understand there's some situations where it's a he said, she said thing, but an owner like Daniel Snyder, where it has been documented for years that he has done stuff like this, and it's now coming to the light. Where is Roger Goodell at? Where are the other owners coming out and saying that can happen? Look at the NBA with Donald Sterling. When he came on and said, I don't want those people, when he was referring to us, blacks, coming to his games. Adam Silver and the owner said, no, that ain't happening. Where are those guys in the NFL? Now, I know and I get it with Daniel Snyder. I just felt like this because I feel like as long as Daniel Snyder's there, Washington will not. The fans got to suffer from this. They're the ones that get the backlash. When you have an owner that is doing all these things, man, that's why nobody likes your team. See, that's what guys like Daniel Snyder doesn't get. It's the fans. They as fans, we are kind of the ones that take the brunt of his actions.
Now, I will say this, and I know you came on the show. Shout out to you for coming on the show. I know, and I know you grew up. Your dad liked to watch and everything like this. But if one thing you know about us, and Ab, I think you could attest to this, we ain't going nowhere.
Facts.
We've been through some ish. And this ain't, this has been going on for 20 plus. We already know, like we're not going anywhere. And I get it. And people do come at us like, yo, your owner is garbage. We're like, yeah, you're absolutely right. What? Move on. Next topic. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna jump on that. And I know we're talking about our team and everything like that and Dan Snyder, but I'm gonna make this quick correction, Nate, real quick.
Yes,
it's Dan Snyder is the only one that's gotten caught. So let's just put that like I don't.
Good point.
The only one
and Robert Kraft. Robert Kraft too.
You get what I'm saying? But that just proves that it's not just like it's just these guys. Once you get some money, I mean, we've all heard of it. I mean, like once you get some money, you can't tell nobody shit. Like,
no, you can't.
Like, you know what I'm saying? So, like, honestly, they're on generational money. So that's another different level of you can't tell me shit. Like,
that's a very good point.
The law that's to us doesn't apply to them, and they already know it, and they're just waiting for us to know it. And like we're like, nah, you can't do that. Like, but at the same time, they can't see what they're doing as wrong. It's because why can't I do it? I got money.
Right.
Well, and again, unfortunately, look what it does. It hurts your pockets as owner. Like look at Donald Sterling. Donald Sterling came out, a week or so after and said, "Well, I'm just asking for forgiveness. I said a terrible thing." Well, listen. They say a picture's worth 1,000 words, but a voice recording is worth 1,000 words because, what you feel about a person that you keep that to yourself. Mm-hmm. Like and I've grown up on this. We're all not born to hate. I believe you're taught those things. And Daniel Snyder, I mean, not Daniel Snyder, but and Donald Sterling, and again, it's documented with him and the great Elgin Baylor, rest in peace. They had their differences. There were some things about racism within the Clippers organization. And look at the Clippers now with Steve Ballmer. The Clippers got a bright future. I look at the Washington football team, and I just feel like that day is coming where Daniel Snyder's going to get his day in court.
But at the same time, though, real quick, Ab, at the same time, the difference between Sterling and Daniel Snyder is Sterling made those comments in a league that's 70% black. You know what I mean? And you're saying you don't want the men. Like you mentioned this earlier. The NFL has been notorious for being very lenient on issues involving women.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Unless it comes really crazy like the Deshaun Watson thing. We've seen you covered it last in January with the Chad Wheeler thing. You know, sometimes it has a little, it's the color of who's the accused that plays into the part. But he didn't. What happened to him? He wasn't immediately ostracized and kicked out. We had to sit here and tell that story. A lot of the ESPN didn't tell that. Seattle didn't tell that. He kind of and look at this right now. He kind of just drifted off. You know what I mean? But with that stuff, when it comes with race and stuff like that, especially in this era, and at that point, that was like the beginning of the woke renaissance, if you will. You know what I mean? That stuff's going to hit so much harder. And I hate it, but it hits so much harder than anything having to do with females because it's like you said, it's he said, she said at times. And sometimes allegations, they just don't get treated the same way. It's terrible, but,
And no offense, nothing's going to happen until the players actually say something and actually be like, we can't play for this man. With Donald Sterling, I don't know. I don't remember since it was such a long time ago. I believe a lot of the players said we're not playing for this dude. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So something had to happen. Something had to happen. Now, if all the women on the Washington football team just said, hey, we're not going to work for Daniel Snyder, I'm not trying to be offensive. Don't come after me or anything like that. But that's not that much of an impact as if the players actually said, yo, we don't like how you treat women. We don't want you doing this. We can't play for a man like this. Now that's a bigger voice. That is a bigger voice. And that's what, essentially, I don't think it can happen until like the NFLPA come together and say something about it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I think it needs something like that. I think that needs to come about. But to me, I think I agree with what you were saying. The league dropped the ball on this. And essentially they're like, oh, we'll just get someone new in there. So it's nothing like that. But to go with what you were saying, though, you said Donald Sterling, like he got his team taken away. No, he sold it. He sold his team at top of the damn market in LA, right? Like, is that so bad?
Right. Well, right.
I get what y'all are saying on that, but I think that there was a brighter light at the end of the tunnel. I think he was forced to sell the team.
Right.
Because I think if he just said, no, I'm not selling it, the Clippers were going to not play. I don't know if this is true or not. I mean, we could ask Blake Griffin or Chris Paul, DeAndre Jordan at the time, even Doc Rivers. Would you didn't still play for the guy? And it was just something that had to be done. Donald Sterling, he's in his own little world. He's made his money. He's living life. His generation. He's got generations of his kids, grandkids. Their generational wealth they're taken care of for years to come. But with Dan Snyder, I don't like, because for those that don't know, Washington is my second favorite team. I'm just not liking the recent hirings, which don't get me wrong, I like them, but I believe they're happening because he is trying to get rid of the paper trail.
Right. That's what he's doing. He's sitting. I mean,
paper trail. But I mean, he is. Let me put it this way: he is trying to cover his tracks, if that makes sense, by making the organization more diverse.
So, I don't think. So I see what you're saying. I don't think it's cover your tracks. I think what he's doing is saving up ammunition for if he does come under fire, he can then say, "Oh well, my wife is a co-CEO. Oh, we don't have a cheerleaders, we have a dance team. Oh, Jennifer King is our running backs coach. oh, I have these minority, our head coaches, Latin American. We have, you know what I mean? He's doing all this stuff. So if people sit here and try to character bash him, exactly what we're doing because we know who he is, he's doing this so they can say, oh, but look what I did. And in this league right now, as we've all seen, this league is a very what have you done for me lately league.
Good point.
You know what I mean? And so in the last several months, he changed the offensive name. He, sat here and got rid of the dance team. He sat here. We have a decent product on the field. He's hiring these women coaches. All of these things are looking good. The optics look good. And so he's being given credit for that. And everything else is kind of just being pushed back because it's out of sight, out of mind, essentially. It happened a while ago.
Good point. So, honestly, y'all, give me y'all takes. What do you think will happen? Do you feel like will you think you'll hear more come out about Daniel Snyder? Will the cat come out the bag? Or do you feel like this is just one of many what is this? CBS Sports, Packers, and the Washington football team in serious talks over an Aaron Rodgers trade?
I'm looking at this stuff now. I don't see anything about it.
Yeah, CBS talk. I get those.
Not seeing a thing about it.
All right. He needs to send the link, man. You gonna let that out there? You
Yo,
guys
G, send the link, man. Send that link, man. If you have it out, let's see it because I'm looking it up right now and I'm not seeing anything having to do with trade.
I'm not seeing anything neither. But what do you think? But do you feel like this is the cat out of the bag for Washington? Do you think?
I don't think nothing happens after this, man. I'm trying to, like I said it before, this is what, honestly, I said this last week. $10 million to all of us is a lot of money. Mm-hmm. That's why I made that comparison about $100 to a billionaire. Is like that. $10 million is like $100 to a billionaire, and that's basically nothing, not one damn bit. But to all of us, all the ignorant people out there, there's a lot of ignorant people out there. They see $10 million. Oh shit, they actually doing something. Oh, donating $10 million to female charities. Oh wow, the NFL's real woke now. Nah, man, they did enough to cover their ass, and that was it.
Good point. So, I just wanted to get these guys' takes on this. These guys are real passionate about Washington. They love their football, and they don't mind talking about things like this. That's why I wanted to give Sean and Ablo this platform. But is there anything going on in Washington outside of Daniel Snyder? What's going on? Is there any updates about the team name, logo? What's up? What's going on?
Well, yeah, I don't know if you know, they came out with something. First and foremost, it was our correct me if I'm wrong, our 89th anniversary of the team. Wasn't a team birthday a couple days ago?
I know the birthday was a few days ago, but don't know how long ago. I want to say it might even be 90, bro.
Yeah, you might be right. Let me look that up. But
1921, I want to, or maybe that's
86. They said 86th birthday.
86. Okay.
Yeah, nice. 86th birthday. So that was the 9th. That was Friday. And then but maybe you could allude on this a little bit more. They did announce that in early 2022 we will have a new name and a new logo and all that. So that should be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, but that's so early. I'm wondering how early. Is it playoff early? Is it after the Super Bowl early?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
That's a good question.
Up in the air.
That's still up in the air. I'm looking at it right now. Yeah. That's interesting to know. I kind of want to know more about that.
And then also one other thing, and check us out, ladies and gentlemen, Wednesday nights, Washington Football Weekly, myself, Ablo, Anton Benton, and Dub K. Because Jason Wright it's been reports that he's pretty almost 100% certain that after our lease ends at FedEx, we're moving. He's trying to get us a new stadium. They would, TMZ caught up. You mentioned that TMZ had caught up with them looking at new stadiums when they were looking at what the Rams' new stadium. You know what I mean? So
they didn't want to go in that direction with those kind of stadiums. But the biggest thing is I don't know where you would put it in DC unless you move somewhere like near the Potomac.
Now, that's a conversation you definitely need to have because, I mean, if you like, to me, I think it would still be in Maryland. I think they might even want to do it somewhere near MGM if they do it that way.
That's a good area.
But like our go-to Ashburn, they building that place up hard, bro.
And that would be really good for Ashburn, especially with the mom and pop shops and different restaurants, all that.
Oh, definitely. But not only that, it's right off. Like they're building the train past the Dulles Airport, and
Dulles International,
going down towards there. So Loudoun County, boom. That's perfect to have. That's perfect to have a stadium right at the end of that on that line.
Right,
perfect.
That's really that would be a good area for it for sure.
And we can hit a lot of people because you can have the people from Frederick, Maryland, and all that coming down, and you have everybody from us right in this area coming in here. It would be a good area, and like he said, the metro, it's all the way down at the Greenway. It's a couple exits from where you break off to go on 15. You know what I mean? So they're pushing that back. And hey, like Ab said, there's a lot of things blowing up in Ashburn. Definitely becoming like a young, hip little area. Right now, so yeah, I mean that would be dope. Traffic would be up, but I might have to move out of that area, but it would be hot though. It would definitely be hot, man. But yeah, they're in talks about that, so we definitely will be covering that this coming Monday
for sure. Definitely check them out Wednesday 8:00. Washington Football Weekly.
There you
again. These guys, I'm telling you, they're passionate about football, and these are good guys to have conversations with. But I wanted to get your guys' take on this, and this is going to be the last topic. I'm going to close out with a couple clips. The Kansas football team, the Jayhawks, there's some things going on. So a fullback by the name of Carpton Humphreys is considering legal action against Les Miles and former athletic director Jeff Long, this is according to CBS Sports. This was following a 2019 dispute between Humphreys and a group of teammates that led to his separation from the program. Miles declined to meet with Humphreys, a junior fullback, and his father as they saw the resolution. And he suggested the players involved that they saw the differences on the practice field. Long, meanwhile, scarcely mentioned in the report to none other note that he was not represented in a signed agreement that led to Humphreys' situation from the program. Humphrey suspected the group of KY teammates of loosening the lug nuts on one of his tires after they had been in an argument, but there was no evidence or arrests were made. The Humphreys also relayed information to KU's compliance director, David Reed, that some players were questioning were selling marijuana. So he was paid $50,000 as an agreement. The agreement would include covered tuition along with monthly spending checks, moving expenses. And in the signed document stated that the Humphrey family would not publicly disparage Kansas-born employees. Quote, this is from his father, Humphrey's father. Les Miles and Jeff Long swept this under the rug and tried to buy our silence. That's how they operate while representing Kansas. So, ultimately, Carpton Humphrey told the Star that situation, quote, caused me everything. And he says his son has battled depression and has started to see a psychiatrist since the ordeal. Les Miles and Kansas parted ways in March. Amid the misconduct allegations stemming from his time at LSU, he went 13-18 in just 2 seasons, ladies and gentlemen. What is y'all take on that?
He doesn't look. He's a coach. Les Miles. It's come out that Les Miles had issues when he was at LSU. But what did he do at LSU? He took them he won the national championship. So people can sweep the stuff under the rug. He was up until, this season, they were touting him as, he's getting a nice recruiting class. He's really building a culture in Kansas. He's doing that. But there was always stuff underlying that like my mom said, like, whatever's done in the dark will come to the light. There was stuff going on underneath that wasn't being said. Now let's be very honest with this. This isn't an isolated event as far as coaches, big name coaches in college football. This type of thing happens all of the time. And the more successful you are, the more that stuff gets pushed under the rug. There were stories that I read coming out about the great Bo Schembechler, and how his son had to deal with certain things. And him being such a big name coach did not want it to come out because it would have, incriminated him and the family and this and that. And so he, pushed that stuff under the rug. And now it's becoming out as a big issue all these years later. So, I mean, it's unfortunate that but it happens. It happens a lot. And these type of stories have been coming up more and more about Les Miles recently. So doesn't surprise me.
Let me add to what Sean is saying. So Sean, I know Sean for a long time, and I don't want you guys to get him wrong. I'm sure he's not saying just because it happens often that it's okay. He's basically just letting you know that it's more common than we like to acknowledge. Okay. Yeah. And so Sean, don't come after Sean. All right. Sean did not mean anything by what we were saying. Okay. He was just basically saying this is more common than than this one story. And honestly, if we're and just to jump on what Sean was saying, all these coaches that and especially if you're winning, people that's when the colleges jump in on it and be like, okay, honestly, you can't tell me that these colleges are like, I didn't know. You can't tell me.
Good point.
You didn't know.
Very good point.
The type of person that is doing all of this stuff. But the thing is, he's winning, and as long as he's winning, they're getting money. And honestly, and I can tell you the truth is that they'll sit there and they'll make a reason that this player can play on the team or stay on the team. He doesn't fit. He doesn't get along with teammates, and they'll do everything possible to make it that way. They threw this man under a bus. And I don't know him I don't know who he is or anything like that, but we can't even say it's a racial thing because the boy's white. So we can't say that. So, but from my experience with Les Miles, he was the head coach for the Philadelphia Eagles. He was garbage then. I don't know why anyone's surprised. If you trade away LaShawn McCoy, you don't think you got some problems, bro? I
think you're referring to Chip Kelly.
Chip Kelly. Oh, my bad. Yeah. My bad. You're right. My bad. Chip Kelly just as messed up, but Chip Kelly just as bad. But let's my bad, guys. But yeah,
you're fine. You're good. You're good.
Les Miles is not. He won, and people made excuses for it, and that's our problem. Is that we make excuses for people because it's like a tit for tat. Like, you're doing this for me, so I'm going to excuse every single thing that you're doing bad, and we'll make it up later. And honestly, people are coming to get them now. So I'm all about this. You know what I'm saying? I'm all about people getting their just desserts. You know what I'm saying? That means people can't get away from the crud that they've done in the past, and it's about time people get their just desserts, man.
Well, I mean, my only issue is that the fullback he signed this arrangement, $50,000. My thing is, you could have just transferred schools. We don't have the full details of what occurred. It says here in the article that he's saying that there are some players that are in question that were selling marijuana. One of them loosened the lug nuts on one of his tires. We don't have all the facts. To me, I feel like this is, and again, until we'll have the full, again, the truth comes down the middle. But
they wouldn't have paid him off if he was lying about anything. Let's be 100 about that.
To shut up. Yeah.
And then you're saying, oh, he could just transfer schools and stuff like that. You know how hard it I'm not trying to make it sound like I know what I'm talking about and transferring schools and everything like that, but it comes with a year of ineligibility, right?
Yeah.
And then
Right.
and then
Right.
and then at fullback, do you understand? Like they're like I don't
lost art
on a scholarship, but if you're a fullback, you get no love.
Right.
It's like fullbacks. Like I'm trying to tell you, they kind of make a fullback and tight end the same position. Like I'm saying, and if he can't catch,
yeah, right,
yeah,
absolutely.
It's a wrap already. And then you got the scrutiny from coming from a school like Kansas to like what other school would you go to? Like, well, you had Les Miles. Why didn't Les Miles like you?
Right.
Like, honestly, I could go different ways with that. I'm just telling you that we can, like, after the fact, we can always say, oh, he we didn't get all the story or like put it on him. But in the same breath, it probably would have been just as difficult for him to move forward anyway else.
Good point.
Yeah. And let's be honest, Kansas, what is their college football team? Kansas isn't known for football. Kansas is known for the basketball team, period. Yeah. Their football is kind of like North Carolina's up before this last couple years, before we got Mac Brown. North Carolina's a basketball school. We're not a football school. Now we are, but then we were not. Kansas is not. So to have a Les Miles, and it's like, okay, he's brought LSU to some championships. Maybe he can do that for us. So everything is hush. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So everything's hush. Let's keep everything. Yeah, we'll give you some money. Oh, yeah, we'll give you expenses and all that. Yeah, because we don't want any of this stuff to come out. Because, like I said before, Les Miles is already under investigation. They took his name off of a bunch of stuff at LSU because of some allegations with him improperly being around some young girls and some stuff like that for LSU. So he was already in the news. So they're sitting here like, look, we don't need anything else. But, Ab, I think you hit the nail on the head. This isn't a quarterback. You know what I mean? This isn't a big-name defensive player or a big-name running back or wide receiver. This is a fullback. Fullbacks are becoming an extinct creature in the game. You know what I mean? With the spread and everything, what teams are you going to really be able to go to that are going to have a fullback? You know what I mean? Like a triple option type team, or something like that, or D2, so – but even more than that, 50,000 is nothing when it comes to the name. Like Ab said, he's scrutinized. Now his name is out there. Now when he goes to other teams, it's just like a job. If I get fired from my job, even though it's not my fault, what's the first question they're going to ask me on my next job? Well, why did you get along with them?
Yeah, right. You're right. You're right.
So,
the same thing.
And you're not getting a reference from your boss.
That's a very good point. I mean, but you could also say the same thing too. I'll use Josh Gordon as an example. Because he wants to be reinstated back in the NFL. It's saying the same thing like a job. Well, you've applied for multiple jobs, but you keep failing drug tests. Like what's going on? Like at some point, like you guys hit it. Unfortunately, you're going to get scrutinized by that. So, I mean, really, I think it's I don't want to say it's hearsay, but we really don't have the full story. We just really have his side of the story, what's going on. And I mean, me personally, my only $50,000. That's a lot of money. So that means to tell me that there was some other stuff going on that we don't know yet at Kansas. But
so I'm going to bring up the perspective thing again. Like when I was mentioning the $10 million to us is a lot of money. $50,000. I mean, that's a lot of money to us too. But you got to look at it from a college player. He's 19 to 21 ish. $50,000, especially when you're not supposed to be making any money, like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
well, that'll change now that the NC, that the Supreme Court ruled that they can start.
I understand, but it didn't change. It hasn't changed. What I'm saying for
Right.
this player right here, right now. But you're right. It will change. I understood. I know that, but I'm only talking about this player right now.
Oh, no, I understand.
When you're not receiving any money, then that $50,000 right there is life changing.
Right,
you know what I'm
definitely.
saying? Right. And then, but at the same time, in his mindset too, all that stuff that dropped on Les Miles just recently, he's like, this piece of paper I had to sign, oh, the hell with this.
Right.
Like, they all about to get this smoke, man.
Yeah, I'm
like,
coming out now.
Like, was it non-disclosure agreement or NDA or something like that?
Yeah.
He had to sign one. He's like, nah, bro, you ain't even with the team no more. Getting all those asses.
Right.
Oh, goodness. So, with that being said, I'm going to close it out. I'm going to ask you guys a couple questions. So, like, Game 4, Milwaukee, Ab, I'm not sure if you've been watching the NBA Finals. Game 4, who do you got?
Oh, man. Where's it at?
We got it's going to be at Milwaukee.
At Milwaukee. I like Milwaukee, man, but I don't know. I think Phoenix comes back. I'm going Phoenix.
Okay. Did you happen to see tonight's game? What was your takeaway from it? What did you think?
I didn't see tonight's game, but I saw the end score. They won by 20. But I just think, like, to me, this as a series in a whole, not just this last game, just the series in a whole, Phoenix looks like they owned Milwaukee. So, I mean, maybe they just need to get their readjustment for being in Milwaukee now. But I think they got Milwaukee's number, bro.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sean, what do you think?
I think they got Phoenix definitely got punched in the face. But I think something they realized tonight is that their background players showed up. Crowder did his thing, but you had Cam Johnson came off the bench and hit 9 of his 11 points in the first 6 minutes of the second half. So I honestly think that I personally think they're going to give the Greek Freak everything he can handle in Game 4. But I think the Bucks being at home, I think the Bucks are going to take it. But I think the Phoenix are going to win in 7, in 6 or 7. I honestly think, because like Ab said, man, Phoenix, they weren't playing themselves tonight. The Giannis and the Bucks, they all played. They were at home. They had a good feel. But I don't see that same. I don't see the Bucks going into Phoenix and doing what they did tonight.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Well, I'm going with the Milwaukee Bucks. They're going to win Game 4, and they're going to win in 6. Again, I just think that Milwaukee is just built. I think they're built for a championship. Again, the addition of Drew Holiday and PJ Tucker, this is a much better playoff team than the last couple years for Milwaukee. The way they've played tonight, I think, is key going forward for this series. I think there's a couple things that I think we saw the weaknesses of Phoenix, and we're not going to sneeze at that. So I'm going with the Phoenix Suns. Going with the Phoenix. I'm going with the Phoenix. I think the Milwaukee Bucks will win in 6, guaranteed.
He said guaranteed.
Guaranteed. And then also too, I wanted to point this out. Mike Brand did say during the game, how about this free throw shooting? Maybe they got to start calling him Steph Adetokounmpo. And Mark Jackson said, "Don't do that on behalf of the Currys. Don't do that."
Yes.
So there is a couple clips, and this is what I wanted to show. I showed the clip with the Phoenix Suns and the ball movement again in Game 3 and Game 2. This is what was really key for the Bucks tonight. Just beautiful ball movement by the Bucks.
That one puts them up 8 again. Booker against.
Oops, sorry. See, that is all energy right there. And I think it really starts with this guy right here.
There's Giannis Antetokounmpo showing the emotion of his team.
Yo, Ab, that thing you put up the other
Did you
day.
see? I was about to. Why y'all ain't no one popping stuff on me?
Yo, they came out and they played it for him, man. That was hilarious.
My meme. I played. Did you see my meme? Hey, you didn't see my meme, man. I put it on Facebook, man.
No, I didn't see. I gotta look at it.
Yeah, man.
I gotta see it. Hold on.
I posted it yesterday, but it was a whole bunch of that same clip. It was just a bunch of stuff that were a voiceover over Giannis. It was hilarious, man.
I'm looking at it right now.
Yep, I'm sending it to you.
Oh wow. Okay. All right. Actually, yes. Can you put that in the private chat so we can show that? So we can.
I just sent it to you. I sent it to your Google or your Messenger.
Okay. Let me see if I can.
Wee. Yo, hey, real quick, man. While I got you on here, man. Yo, shout out to my baby. Shout out to Catherine Hughes. Shared that video in like 12 or 13 of those Redskins groups. Yo, that little video about actually, and Nate, you was in it. The video we did about who's gonna be the breakout player in 2021.
Yes.
That video has reached like almost 4,500 people, and we've got almost over 2,000 people that have watched that video, that clip.
Wow.
Yeah. So we're getting some attention on that. Who's gonna be the breakout player?
So we need to jump on these things to have conversations with these people, man.
Well, yeah, because one of them called you out.
Me?
He was like, yo, who's that guy that he said Gibson? Man, get what Gibson gonna do. And then but what other people was like, yo, get out of here, yo, see what you talking about. Yo, he's like, oh, yo, he got turfed. He can't get through he sounded like Anton. I'm not gonna lie. I love you, Anton. I love you, man. But he was like, yo, he's got turf toe, man. He couldn't even get out of training camp. He was like, yo, dude, he had turf toe last year. Like, what are you talking about?
Come on, man.
So yo, they let him have it, but yo, it was in a bunch, man. So
that's really good. That's really good. I agree. We definitely gotta have more conversations like this. It just, it was fun being on the show with y'all, and I appreciate y'all coming on tonight. But like tonight, for example, I really don't want to talk about the Orioles because that was painful. I know we're going into episode 13, ladies and gentlemen. I just want to send off my congratulations to those that are representing for the WNBA Women's Team USA as they're going down to the Olympics. We won't see these girls until August, so my coverage will be a little different and just be primarily probably just talk about some things off season here and there about the Ravens, Washington, Orioles, and we're going to get into the off season maybe with some hockey. Also to the Commissioner's Cup, it'll be the Connecticut Sun versus the Seattle Storm. So that should actually be a competitive game. And then be on the lookout for a kind of first half review of the Washington Mystics. And probably also too, in that video, I'll probably give my opinion on the other 11 teams, how they've been doing. There's a couple teams that have been disappointing and those that have been kind of up and down, but some that have actually jumped out of nowhere. But y'all let me know your thoughts on tonight's topics, with the Milwaukee Bucks, Team Nigeria defeating Team USA, the ESPYs.
Was that soccer?
No, basketball.
Bro, word.
Yeah, we lost 90 to 89. They shot.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I saw that. I thought that was like today, bro. That was a few days ago, wasn't it?
Yes, it was last night actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. People ask me have I gotten a chance to watch the FIBA soccer football with England and Italy and those countries. No, I haven't gotten an opportunity to watch that because it's kind of been kind of difficult to kind of keep up with every sport.
I'm sorry, it's hard, man.
Say it again, Ed. You're kind of going out.
Oh, I said it's hard. Like, it's hard to know what you're talking about in several different sports, man. Like, so, it's Khabib. Not, I'm gonna say his name wrong, but I'm gonna say it better than you did. Khabib Nurmagomedov. Nurmagomedov. But but yeah, he's he undefeated in the UFC, bro. He's probably been he's arguably pound for pound best fighter in the last few years, and probably ever. I'm trying to tell you, he's undefeated, 29-0. He's the guy. He's the guy Conor McGregor always can't get his name out his mouth.
Yeah, and real quick, I want to give my thoughts and prayers to Conor. I think he snapped his ankle.
Oh,
he fought.
Tibia. Tibia.
Gosh.
Even though he was talking all that mess and everything like that, see, that's why you don't talk mess, people. You know what I'm saying? Because that's that karma that gets shined right back at your ass. Because literally, he said talking about putting Dustin on a stretcher. He was going to leave the cage on a stretcher, and who left on a stretcher?
It was Conor.
Karma. I'm just saying that's that karma, brother.
But I think also too, I'm noticing I'm noticing this recently because I'm not really into MMA like that. But some of these injuries I've seen, I understand that I understand what they sign up for, but some of oh goodness, I forgot who it was, broke his leg, literally.
Chris Weidman.
Yeah, I was man.
If you need me to talk MMA, I'll talk MMA for you. But I know.
There we go.
I know enough, bro. I'm just saying.
Yo.
You know what I'm saying?
You got MMA insider, baby. Let's go.
Just saying, man. But yeah, Chris Weidman broke his leg, and it's kind of eerie that he broke his leg because it was maybe about 5 years prior, that same injury happened to Anderson Silva against Chris Weidman.
Yes,
against Chris Weidman. So that's how crazy it is, you know what I'm saying? But anybody that fights, you don't wish harm. You know what I'm saying? There's stuff, you talk mess, you know what I'm saying? It gets heated, but at the end of the day, you really don't want someone to get severely hurt where they can't go home to their family. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree. And it's just, oof. I mean, him snapping his ankle, again, I think he just stepped wrong, but I understand it's part of the game. It's part of the sport. And, these guys, they put their body through a lot day in and day out. But I hope he has a speedy recovery. I wish him well. But, Ed, what did you think of the other ESPY winners? I know you disagreed with Tom Brady being the best athlete. I can actually pull that list back up. Who did you think should have been the winner of best athlete? Let me go down the list real quick. We had Tom Brady, Connor McDavid, Nikola Jokic, and Lewis Hamilton.
So, part of being a man, I'll be straight up and tell you that I don't know enough about racing or hockey to speak intelligently about it. So, as a man, I'm man enough to say that. Tom Brady and you say Nico, that's Joker, right?
Yeah, the Joker.
Yeah, Joker. So
that's what I said.
That dude's nice. You know what I'm saying? I can't even front on that. To me, I don't think they added enough.
Right. Yeah.
They didn't put enough. They did not put. They didn't put the right NFL. It's like they only had one player that they could add in each sport, and I don't think they put the right representative in football into that, or even another. You could have added another entry in there too. To me, you know what I'm saying? You say Tom Brady, that's because he won the Super Bowl. He was MVP of the Super Bowl, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's the reason why you put him there. in football's representative spot. But what about all year, bro? Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't think you can sit there and be like, oh, because he was good in one game out of the year, then all of a sudden, then he's the best representative for the sport.
There you go. Good point.
Like that. Steph Curry was lighting it up that one year, and then turned around, and who was the guy that got MVP of the finals?
Andre Iguodala.
Yeah, bro, dude, what?
Yeah.
And it's because Steph, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's astronomically dumb to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, you home it down on one, and this is ESPN. You're part of sports is part of your name. And this is how you judge. I mean, this is so narrow-minded, bro. And to me, especially in football, like one player, Tom Brady, the oldest one, MVP of the Super Bowl, and not even mention anybody else that's in the whole year. Like, you could have said Aaron Donald. Like, honestly, I don't think
that's a good one.
I don't think anybody would argue that. You know what I mean? So. And it's just crazy to me. So and then there's several other players in NBA, Greek Freak,
Giannis,
LeBron, like, you know what I'm saying, like, and then I didn't agree with what you were saying about the rookie of the year thing, Spence. I didn't like
Chase
that.
Young.
Yeah,
you think Chase Young should have got more attention?
I didn't say that. I did not say that. You were like, oh, your argument against all the football players is pretty much the same argument for little baby what's his name? Baby Ball. Like,
LaMelo. Oh yeah.
Like, it's the same argument for him. Like, they barely made the playoffs. At least we made the playoffs. Like, they were the 10th team out of 10.
Yeah. No, wait. I didn't think LaMelo Ball should have got it either. I didn't think he should have got it either. But I was just saying I know why they didn't get it. I agree with you. I think he was in the same boat as them, and I was surprised. And even that little his little speech that he said, I was kind of like, oh, okay. You know, like, he didn't even think he was gonna get that. So yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah.
And to me, and no offense to me, and these football players lasted pretty much the whole season. And then you even said Ball didn't even last the whole season. Like, how many games did he miss? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
good point. He didn't. LaMelo did miss a good chunk of the season with his injury.
Right. And like, Chase Young missed one game, and then Justin Herbert played the whole season.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he may have missed one game too, because someone else started.
Right.
Someone else started the season. But who was the other person in the running
for best athlete men's sports?
What was it, the rookies one though?
Oh, the rookies. It was best breakthrough athlete Justin Herbert and Crystal Dangerfield from the Minnesota Lynx. That's WNBA.
Okay, yeah, I don't know enough to intelligently argue that. I'm just saying, like, the football part and the LaMelo part, like, to me, I think if anything, it should have been Justin Herbert, because for him to put up those numbers as a rookie,
especially on a losing team.
On a losing team, especially that, you know what I'm saying? Like,
and there were games that unfortunately I see, and I can't blame Anthony Lynn and saying that again. That's where the media, paints this narrative. I just think that there were just sometimes we got to hold players accountable. Like, there were just games that they just failed to close out on the defensive and offensive perspective. I mean, coaching does come down to it, but a coach is always going to get scapegoated. But
he lost his job, though, right?
Yeah, he did get fired. Yes.
Yeah. You already know what I'm gonna say.
Topic.
But I could talk about another 15 minutes on top of that. So I'm not even gonna do that. But it's just that we have a shorter tolerance for black coaches than we do white coaches. We give them more time to accomplish their game plan.
But it is something we need to talk about, though, because especially in the NBA, you had 3 African American coaches in the Eastern and Western Conference Finals, respectively. You had Nate McMillan in Atlanta, Monty Williams in Phoenix, Ty Lue in Los Angeles. Like we have to have a conversation about that. You know, that can't be ignored. You know, we need more black coaches, and you know they've shown, these three guys have shown that they're capable of getting a team to the promised land. Like Monty Williams in the NBA Finals. You know, plain and simple. I think we got to give him respect on that. Also, I forgot to mention, congratulations to Maya Moore, member of the Minnesota Lynx. She is on a sabbatical. She's been on a sabbatical for the past couple years. She received the Arthur Ashe Award in her efforts to free her husband, Jonathan Irons, who she's known since they were like 16, 18 from prison. And then Chris Nikic will receive the Jimmy V Award after becoming the first person with Down syndrome to complete an Ironman triathlon last November. And then English soccer player Marcus Rashford will receive the Pat Tillman Award after helping combat food poverty and hunger with his charitable efforts during the COVID-19 pandemic. So congratulations to those guys, well deserved, especially for Maya Moore. You know, with her taking 2 years, pretty much not playing basketball to focus on that issue. They're now married. And then Marcus Rashford, you know, we need more people like this, especially with combating food hunger and poverty, especially during the pandemic. Because that's just, I think we can all agree with this. COVID has definitely exposed a lot. And, you know, given another year or two, we'll really see the effects of COVID-19 and what it has done across the global world. But congratulations to those guys. But you guys let me know your thoughts on these topics. If you want to see more of these and you want to see more other topics, feel free to leave those in the comments below. Again, I want to give the Washington Football Weekly crew, thank you guys for taking the time to join me on my podcast this evening. I know y'all guys got busy days tomorrow, so I don't want to hold y'all.
Yeah, I gotta work at 7:00 at least, bro. So
yeah. So, but with that being said, again, I appreciate y'all joining me. With that being said, again, hit that like, comment, and subscribe. Consider hitting the subscribe button along with notification bells on. This episode will be on Anchor and Spotify, Google Podcasts, and Spotify. So I'll have this up tomorrow. But with that being said, I'm out. Peace. Stay out.
First of all, listen, it's interesting about all these young guys today. They never call on us and say, hey, thanks for the kind word and telling me how great a player I am. But when they play like crap and we call them out, we don't know what we're talking about. Listen, I'm easy to find, but I get sick of these guys complaining. These young guys, they never call us and say, when a coach is wrong, I'm going to call him out. But when players are wrong, I'm going to call them out. But listen, I'm going to criticize guys that they deserve it. And listen, they can kiss my ass if they don't like it.
How do you do that? How do you do that? What the hell is going on?